Why have they started so badly, Mario? What has been the problem that you have seen? The number one concern, if you're a Liverpool fan, from what we've obviously witnessed over the last couple of months?
So many players in a team that are very important for that team to make that next step. And the difficulty is like, okay, we talked about, remember last season, we talked a lot about, for example, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Oh, the problems and this and that. Okay, the kid goes away. Now we see how much of a miss he is for that team. You understand? Then we talk about Ritz is there now. Great young talent. We cannot dispute that. But we are waiting for him to kick off. Why? Because I don't want to jump into the next game, but if I look at certain things, I'm waiting for him to bring something in the team. Salah's gone quiet. I don't know why, you understand, and I think he is probably the biggest picture we got to focus on, because regardless of the new boys coming in, this is the biggest one I'm focusing on. Salah was quiet because people started to understand. This is not something new, what is happening, because, okay, we know what Cucurella said about the game, that he said, like, we planned it, we gambled on it, but away from that, Salah is too quiet. We don't like Salah quiet like this, because when a footballer is that great and doing that many great things, I don't like him quiet like this.
Isn't it funny? We were sat here last year talking about Real Madrid have brought in one of the best players in the world. They're going to run away with the league. Look what Liverpool have done this summer. They brought in some of the best players around, great business. They're going to run away with the league. We saw it with Real Madrid, the change of personnel there. Toni Kroos, of course, leaving. And we're seeing it now with Liverpool, aren't we? That on paper, as great as it is to have these names come in, arguably better players, in reality, to get this team to gel is going to take time. And I suppose the question is, will they gel? Will this bear fruit?
I think eventually they will, but I will also say that we cannot underestimate the importance of acknowledging that this is a team sport.
Yeah.
And in order for a team to be successful, the pieces have to fit. And you cannot sacrifice the balance of your group so that you can fit in 5 or 6 attacking players at the same time. And so this is when the manager has to make tough decisions. I am not going to sacrifice the balance of the team. I'm not going to sacrifice the strength of this team through the midfield. And this is what happened a lot with Liverpool. You have a lot of attacking players that are kind of getting on each other's way, getting on each other's space. When they lose the ball in a bad area, now they don't have players tracking back, and actually they're getting played through the midfield, and teams are getting themselves in opportunities to attack Liverpool in moments of transition. When we think of Liverpool in the past, we think of Liverpool getting themselves out in transition. That is not happening regularly and consistently for Liverpool. More to the point, if you have, and maybe I'm being conservative, but if you have at least 5 or 6 players out of the starting 11 that are playing below the level of expectation, I don't care how talented you are and how great of a team you're supposed to be. If you are having players underperforming, and it's 5 or 6 players in that starting 11 that consistently are underperforming, eventually you're going to get found out. Eventually you're going to get exposed.
Why are they underperforming? What are we seeing from the likes of Salah, even Van Dijk? Well, why are they not up to the level that we're used to?
And that is a question that if Arne Slot had the answer to it, he would have figured it out by now. It's not easy to just pinpoint something, but I would say about Mohamed Salah, if I were his teammate, and I know how important he has been to my group. Say I'm Virgil van Dijk, and I know I'm dependent on Mohamed Salah. Man, I have seen him score game winner after game winner after game winner, and you're thinking, this guy is eventually going to score a game winner for me. But if I see him walking when we're struggling in transition, if I see him not getting behind the ball when he loses it himself, if I see him just parked on the right-hand side and not having an impact on what this team is trying to do, and when he does get his chances, he's not taking advantage of those opportunities, I feel compelled to say something. Even if he is Mohamed Salah, even if he's a club legend, even if he's done so much for this club, I think right now too many players in this team feel like they're beyond reproach. And it's getting to the point to where you now have to be able to grind. And this group of Liverpool doesn't seem capable of grinding.
Back to my original question, why are they going to bond? Why is it going to work out in the end, given everything you've just said?
Because there's enough talent here. And I think there's enough personality here as well.
Right.
you just need to, I think, you just need to knock down some walls. Florian Wirtz needs to forget about fitting in. Needs to forget about, oh, this is what the manager is asking me to do. This is what this club wants me to do. No. Play the game as naturally you see it and feel it. That's when you're at your best. Mohamed Salah, we're going to have to demand that this guy does a lot more work than just parking himself on the right-hand side. And if he's not willing to do it, hey, it's not beyond the realm of possibility to say, Mo, you got to come and sit down, buddy. You got to come and see it from a different perspective. Because now I have two strikers that can actually, if I need to play with two strikers, I have Ekitike and Isak. And let's see what they look like playing as two strikers. If I'm looking for more balance, I have to take out offensive players. And if that means sacrificing Mohamed Salah so that he gets a new picture, watching it from the stands, then that's a decision I need to make. I already made that decision with Florian Wirtz. That didn't quite work out. Somebody's going to get sacrificed at some point. You're going to have to make tough decisions, and it's because the results are not coming.
Shaq, you must have been there, like you think back to that Newcastle run, where everything just seems easy.
Yeah.
You're going out, you're winning, it's great, everybody loves you, there's no
isn't.
criticism,
Yeah.
and then snap.
All
You
of a
go on
sudden.
this little bit of a run, and you've got us and everybody talking about where it's going wrong. And I imagine within a locker room, that dynamic can change quite quickly. Is that?
Absolutely it can. And now you're looking for those on-the-park leaders. And the truth is, you look at Liverpool's 11, as talented as it is, the leaders you're thinking are Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah. Van Dijk is very vocal and certainly leads by example as well. Mo Salah, you don't get the impression that he's vocal, that he's putting himself out there, that he's asking others to be accountable, let alone be accountable himself. And that's the issue here. You've got two players who kind of been there, seen it, done it all, especially with Alisson out of the park, out injured, who've done it all. One is struggling for form, which you've seen from time to time, but you know he scores goals. And the other is trying to get all the others afloat. And then to your question about why we still think Liverpool will come good, because 9 times out of 10, 99 out of 100, however you want to package it, when you put a bunch of talented players on the park together, they figure it out eventually.
Real Madrid didn't last season. They have to get rid of their coach.
Agreed. But you look, you think it's. Well, that's one. That's the one out of 10. That's the one out of 100. But right now, you just feel, if Virgil gets a goal, how does that change his own feeling, his own confidence in this Liverpool team? If Isak gets a goal, which he is desperate for, how does that change how he plays the game? And you just feel that if they get over that hump, Ekitike got over his very early and he flourished. If they're able to do that, all of a sudden you'll see the players that on the slot actually pay that amount of money for.
Mario?
Yeah. No, I totally understand what the guys are saying. I think tactically it was a very interesting game that we saw as well. You know, how that game was maneuvered. Because Slot, that is his, I think, in the middle of the park, he's very strong. And I think that is where he got overrun. And I think when you looked at the game, the way he was set up, Chelsea had a great answer to his setup. Because McAllister, if you look at McAllister, Malo Gusto was not worried about a lot of the football. Okay, he did a lot because he's a talented player. But his focus was McAllister. And then, of course, you have the other star man, you understand, at the moment now, I enjoy watching him, called Caicedo. The way Caicedo plays, if you take Caicedo out of the Chelsea team, you lose a big percentage of ball winning, tackles, fighting back, and dictating the rhythm of the play. And I think that was the biggest difference, because he's clearly one of the best players in that team at the moment. But I felt like they had no answer to that. And when we talk about Salah, look, if you score, we will never talk about him. Because last season, he did the same thing. He had the conversation with Slot, and Slot said, okay, he asked him, he said, look, if you want me to do more backtracking, I might not be delivering the goals as much. But when you saw him in the game, the easiest trick for Salah, not for me, but for Salah, is going inside and hitting it far corner, goal. And, wow, in the game, it was not coming off. People start even complaining. You never see his teammates complaining to him, because he was always delivering.
Meanwhile, Mario, let's talk about the winners from that game, shall we? Your former club, Chelsea, of course. Arguably one of the best performances we've seen under Enzo Maresca. Is that fair?
one of the best for sure. I mean, the way he starts sprinting at the last goal, is definitely one of the,
Yeah,
one
like
of the
that.
best. He got a card for that one because, what is he, number 5 or something, got a red card or something at Chelsea. So, no, but no, this was a great game. I think you understand the way he hit that strike. You understand? It's like he has that, and he did it also. The second half he did it one more, but then that one got saved. And then the last, this kid, Estevao. For me, if you look the way he plays, they are looking at him to give him the ball, and when he takes you on, he has that confidence that he wants to go very direct. I know they have other players like Gitten and all that, but they are sometimes a little bit bumpy with the ball yet. They don't have that confidence yet. But this kid, 18 years old, he come from Brazil, come to a new city, and then straight away, first game an assist that was on Enzo's head, and then the second one now you do this. I mean, you cannot start better than at any club, I think. I hope only when you're that young for him to stay cool and just keep progressing because he's very talented.